Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Chevy Boy back on the channel, and we are back once again on Demolition Derby 3. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I've been dealing with, being sick over the last couple of days and trying to get better, so, that's what the coughing and the stuffy nose is about. My bad. Well, not really my bad. It's just, my apologies. But anyways, today we're going to be taking a look at the Colt Classic, which is based on an early 70s Mustang. You're probably wondering, how do you know it's a 70s Mustang? The taillights are very 1970, 71-ish. The rear window louvers, obviously a trademark of the early 70s, and the grill. So, I already tried to do a video on this car before, and I deleted it just because I wasn't satisfied with it. So, if you guys are curious, that's what that's all about. So, if you guys are like, hey, why does it look like you already did the car? Because technically I did. I just wasn't satisfied with it. So, we're going to do a quick derby, first of all. And we're going to do Top of Rings Garage. So yeah, what are you guys up to? Like I said, I've been kind of sick. I did go to work yesterday because I was feeling okay. Oh shoot, hold on. I have like no protection on my car. Oh well, neither do they, so. I mean, the only problem, oh no, one of them does. Oh crap. Oh, I just got squeeze played, wow. I just got put between a literal rock and a hard place. Except in this case, it was two Volkswagen vans. I think the first time I did this derby, I think I killed somebody, or I wrecked someone fairly quickly, like within the first 2 minutes. The derby was pretty short, but So yeah, what have you guys been up to? Sorry I haven't been recording a lot, like I said. Haven't been feeling good the last couple of days, but before that I went to go up and see my girlfriend, hang out with her, and that was pretty fun. Have a lot of fun hanging out with her, so hanging out with her is always a good time, I mean, as it should be, right? Being your significant other, so. Oh, geez. My Mustang, my Colt Classic, is a little bit dead. It's going to be a lot more dead here in a minute. If I try and take out these three Volkswagen vans. Oof. Yeah, ooh, boy. Oh, dude. Yeah, that happened last time, too, except it was all cop cars and a couple of Wraiths and one or two Mustangs. So, I mean, I had a decent amount of durability. Actually, it wasn't even that big of a advantage in durability. So, what I think I'm going to do for this race I think I'm gonna go back and do Aquatic Remind, or Remind, whatever, however you say it, again, because I really do like this track, and no, it's not just because, you know, I came up with it. Like, I mean, it is, but it's not, right? And one thing that I do want to actually do in the future is a showdown between the Malaro 78 and the Stinger, which are the 78 Camaro and the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda, respectively, is what the models are based on. Yeah, I kind of made this car look like a mix between like the Tokyo Drift and the Bullet Mustang. It was really, it's more based on the Tokyo Drift Mustang, even though I'm not going to drift it because, you know, my girlfriend flat out says drifting doesn't exist. Like, it's funny because I have a cousin that told me this recently, but he's like, you know, drifting doesn't really have a reason to exist in the real world. Like, it doesn't have a purpose that is actually used in the real world, being that, you know, drifting, I mean, drifting may or may not be a sport depending on who you ask. It's not a sport according to my girlfriend, and it shouldn't be a thing because it's basically just for people who like to show off, which is kind of true. Because if you look into it, drifting was really only started by the Drift King in the 80s, because he was winning so much that, you know, people at the races just got bored of it, so he did it for dramatic flair. Like, there's no real reason other than, oh yeah, I just got bored, so I wanted to keep the fans coming back, kind of thing. Like, they wouldn't have just come back for his racing in particular. They were like, no, you know, you need to add some pizzazz, you know, some panache or some garbage. Whereas, like, with drag racing, 0 to 60s, stuff like that, like, car journalists, you know, they don't use drifting skill as, oh, come on, will you not do that? Seriously? This car did that twice in the couple attempts that I made to do this. It did that twice, where it would just kind of not gain enough momentum and nosedive, and it was being really dumb. That's one thing that I don't necessarily like about the car, is that it's very eager to just kind of brake. I don't know what the deal is. Jeez, man, that could have been a lot worse. No, it's very, like, front end heavy. Granted, it is a front end rear, you know, a front engined rear drive car, but, like, not all of the cars should be that nose heavy that they just kind of drop like a stone on jumps like that, I guess. You know what I mean? On ramps like that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense why the game would do that. And that's what makes me mad about certain cars, is they do that, and it just kind of derails your whole progress. So then you have to sit there and fight with it, right? So I'm going to try to run away from the cops. I'm going to do it in a salvage yard this time, because, I mean, in downtown it was alright, but when I did it the first time, I mean, this car, like, besides the way that it looks, I don't really see much of a distinction between this car and the Malaro or like the Stinger, you know what I mean? Like these cars, they kind of, I know in real life the Mustang had a different personality from the Camaro, from the Challenger, from the Barracuda, even from the Cougar that was based off of it, right? And so, I mean, yeah, you could argue they're all technically the same car. They're the same kind of car, same class of car, but they're not the same thing. In this, the differences are much, much less noticeable. And so it's like, oh, well, once you've driven one Mustang, or one rear drive, mid-size American-based car in this game, you've kind of driven them all. That's not to say that it's true, but in this case, when put with its competitors, it's kind of not wrong. I don't know what else to say about that. Like, I mean, it takes corners very well, obviously, Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. I will say that I do like the tractor pull headers, because I haven't done a car with tractor pull headers on it in a long time. I've always kind of stuck away from that. Oh, geez. This thing's getting beat on by the cops bad. This is probably not a great getaway car. Especially because I keep insulting it, saying that it just kind of performs like the other cars in the same class, right? I'm just getting beat on by the Dodges. I'm just getting beat on by them. The full-size, Stormer Laguna, or in real life, they're the Charger Daytona. They're just kind of beating on me. Ah, shoot. Why would anyone ever choose a Mustang as a pursuit vehicle? This thing doesn't make any sense. Like, I get it, Mustang, I mean, popular name, but, like, I'd rather have a Charger. Because those things I know at least are built to be bulletproof. These things, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Just like an old Dodge Charger will beat an old Mustang in a cop chase any day of the week. I mean, yeah, this thing takes a beating with just a roll cage, but beyond that, I don't know what the strength of this thing is. I mean, and I really want to do this, by the way, but if I'm going to do the comparison video between the three cars, I mean, I've killed 4 cops already. 5 cops, my bad. Technically, it probably wasn't even me that killed them. But no, it's one of those, like, if I do the video between the the Stinger, the Malero, and then this thing. So the Camaro, the Mustang, and the Barracuda. I'm fairly certain this car is going to lose. Just because, I don't know, this thing, like, it handles decently, but beyond that, I don't know. It doesn't seem like the best option when you have a 70s Camaro or a late 70s Camaro and a 1970 Barracuda as options against this thing, right? Especially since this is like a Mach 1 from the 70s. So, shoot. Well, now I'm high-centered. Now I have to wait for a cop to come by and tag me, so I can get out of this little situation. But I mean, I guess that makes sense considering. I'm just gonna take a picture of that. But anyways, yeah, no, what'd you guys think? I know most of you guys are probably not gonna agree with me and be like, oh, the Mustang is great, you know what you're talking about. I mean, feel free to send me those comments. I don't care. Like, feel free to send me, the issues that you have with my argument. Because it's one of those, like, if you've tried, I mean, really, if you have tried one of these cars, you've tried most of them. I mean, there's a few exceptions, obviously, but I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, it just comes down to the fact that the Mustang, compared to the Camaro and the Barracuda, they're not, I mean, the Mustang's not my favorite out of the three. I mean, I'd grab a Cougar over a Mustang any day, even though the Cougar is just Mercury's higher version of the Mustang. But anyways, besides that, I did want to clear something up about this car, the Toronado, or the Oldsmobile Toronado. In that, unless you want to see it in another video, let me know. Which I'm tempted to do anyways, is just kind of dedicate its own video to it, even though I kind of got it right. When it came to the engine layout of this car. So, you know what, forget it. I'll just do it in this one, because, I mean, it's only like 20 minutes in, right? Or is it? I don't even know. Yeah, it's not even 20 minutes in. Basically, so, with the way this car works, is engine and transmission. The engine is sitting normally. The transmission is bolted to the side of it. And then the tail shaft of the engine and the tail shaft of the transmission are where they would meet. So one of them is backwards. So where the transmission would meet the engine, normally in a longitudinal drive car like the Mustang, for example, they're connected by a chain drive as they're, bolted basically next to each other. And then you have the differential, which has, there's like a cog, I believe, coming off of the front end of the transmission that goes to the differential, which meets it at a right angle, and then that drives the actual front axle. And that's how that works, from my understanding of it. From what I remember right, that's how that works. My bad. I know, I goofed up. But, yeah. Anyways, so that's the whole story behind this car, and that's how they did that. But like I said, if you guys want to go look it up and actually verify it, and look at it yourself, go ahead. Otherwise, the BMG Fire Rig, holy crap, that's got a lot of durability, but that's got a lot of weight. And then you got the Commando, the Turbo, the Prime Hauler, the Colonial Holiday. And this is the last car we've seen for a while, is the Armadillo half-track. And honestly, I like the idea of this military vehicle. I just don't know when we're going to get the next update, because people have been whining and moaning about it for a couple of months now. And I'm just sitting there like, you know what? They're working on other stuff. If they're going to put out a couple more cars, that's fine. You know what I mean? Don't sit there and rush them. Don't scream at them, because it's not going to do anything. So, but anyways, on the Colt Classic, are there alternatives? Yeah. There are better alternatives. In my opinion, I mean, get the Camaro, get the Barracuda, get the Charger if you want something that's a little bit bigger, right? But that's just my opinion. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, let me know. And, yeah. I'll catch you down the road. This is Chevy Boy signing out. Peace, y'all.